My name is Melissa Fensky, and I live in Fillmore County. And I've been in 2 car accidents throughout my lifetime, both of them resulting in skull fractures with traumatic brain injuries. The first one happened in 1985 when I was 15, and the second one was just almost a year ago. When I went back to school after my first accident, my grades went from A's and B's to D's and F's. I just couldn't keep up with the classes. I remember a month or so after my injury, my parents finally let me go out with my friends, and at 15, that's a big deal to be able to do that. But I remember it was really disappointing because it was hard for me to keep up with conversations with my friends, and I just couldn't wait to get back to my home where I could just kind of be normal and not have to try to pretend to be who I was before. When my parents sought help from doctors at that time, they were told basically only time will tell to is how much my brain will recover and how much I'll get back to normal. There was really no support or education offered to my family at that point in time. 30 years later, I again have another brain injury, and although the injury isn't that much different, my experience with the recovery has been significantly different. Before I left the hospital, I had an appointment with a specialist in the brain rehab clinic. My husband and I met with this nurse who gave us information and support regarding my brain injury and what to expect throughout the recovery process. She helped us set reasonable expectations for my responsibilities within the home and specific coping skills that we could utilize during my recovery process. She also helped me transition back to work and helped, again, set expectations for that. When I went back to work, it was very difficult for me mentally to shift from one activity to another, even one conversation to another. And there was one time when I was sitting at a computer typing a report and the phone rang, and I was horrified when I went to answer it and could not come up with the right words, even just hello. My brain just couldn't shift that fast to say what I needed to say to the caller. And that was just an embarrassing reminder to me that my brain injury was still very present and I was still recovering from that. The difference in the last 30 years in both the medical community and society in regards to the awareness, education, and support for brain injuries is phenomenal. This has not only helped me, but also my family as I've recovered from this latest injury. I realize there have been many trailblazers over the last few decades who have paved the way for these services to be in place, and I'm committed to making sure that this awareness and service continues to grow in the future. One way this could occur is through the improvement of reform in the medical assistance services. Specifically, there needs to be some reforms to the current medical assistance program for people with disabilities. Medical assistance is so important because it gives adults with disabilities access to services that support independent living. The problem is that the income and asset standards to qualify for MA and those services are just too low. This often forces adults with brain injury and other disabilities deep into poverty just to get the services they need to be independent. As a person living with 2 brain injuries, I appreciate the importance of having a strong system of support and services to recover and live a full and independent life. Excuse me, I know Minnesota can do better for adults with brain injuries that have very little income and are already living on the edge. Please increase the MA income and asset limits and reduce the spend down so people with brain injuries can stay in their community and not have to live in poverty. Thank you.